Thank you for the message there, MB and 30K. I am expecting my internet to crash at some point. When I went to my ISP's website to try and resolve some issues with it, it wouldn't even detect my modem, so I don't expect a very stable connection. Yeah, no, it's weird too. I'm not running like emergency power to engines here, but I found I just didn't need it. I think I'm on innervated. Yeah. Yeah, we'll want to fit that. I forgot to start my combat log there. That was a really bad start because I was trying to type. Oh, the tank already died. This isn't going too well so far. Yeah, I think we're resetting this run. I'll see if we're going with the 5th. They've been doing some runs where we just have like 2 people, 3 people, 4, just to make the queue a bit harder. Florian and Obitus, they went and did a 2-man HSE the other day. Took them a few attempts apparently. Apparently they're only doing one more run anyways. So how's everyone doing today? Need to check my traits. Everything looks right. Hello Schaefer, hello Bam Bam. Good, just woke up, got a little bit of like a little cold going on, so just dealing with that fun stuff. I should have done this the other day, but give that a minute to go through. Hello Ranger. Trying to remember what I had slotted instead of the con officer. I think it was just a Dilreen, because I didn't have much to slot. And I had a request to cover up my chat, so I'm gonna do that. Just because there's some conversation going on in there that people don't want me to stream. They're a bunch of elitist. There it goes. Sometimes this queue window works instantly, and other times it just takes forever. Hopefully this HSE run goes a bit better, so y'all have something better to watch, because that last run was very bad. It started very bad. This run should be better. 305k in HSE with a torque build. I think that's a first. And I think my torps up front are still messed up. Okay. I'm gonna scan. Yeah, everyone's... So with these HSE runs, if you scan at the end after you kill the queen, that is what completes the queue. If you do not scan, you can warp out and go back in to do another run right away. So in these high-end runs, we often will skip the scan so that we can just go back in and do another run right away, because we don't need the dilithium, we don't need the marks. We're doing it to just try and get a number or just try to get a really good run in. And go over the build, yeah. Yeah, I can go over that a little. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing with most of it, so... I'm just throwing things at these runs and hoping something sticks. Yeah, poor Ranger. Opening a few of these packs. I need some more of these. Need a lot of Phoenix packs for upgrades. I'll be very surprised if I get even an ultra rare out of this. I don't expect an epic. I honestly don't expect to even get an ultra rare with how many I'm opening here. There's only 300 and something packs. I'm just gonna open these and then I'm gonna go over the build. And also I'll look over the parse from that run here. Only another 120 packs to go. Okay, so one ultra rare. I mean, that's okay out of how many packs that was? 310 packs. Get these in the right order. Oh, did ya? Terrible. You're gonna make him even more upset. Okay, so let's take a look at the build first, I guess. Or do you guys want to see the parse first? Doesn't really matter to me. So basically, with this build, I've just been taking a bunch of things and throwing them at the wall. I've been trying different torp orders, multiple things like that. Hold on. Sorry, my got a bit of a cold, so my nose is going nuts. But I've been just trying different torp orders, things like that. One thing I've been having weird success with was having the Terran torp aft. I need to do more runs, like swap this out with this crafted one I have here or something, but that's just been a weird thing so far. I would say when you're buying Zen, always wait for a Friday, because that's when they usually start the sales, and if they haven't started one, you know, today, being it is Friday, then you're safe to buy Zen, because they're not going to start a Zen sale over the weekend. Hello, Dem. But let's just go over the weapons here. Terran, dual heavy cannon, enhanced biomolecular, Kelvin with crit D3. The Kelvin's really nice because of the really low recharge speed on it. It's only got a 4-second recharge speed, which is really quite amazing. I've got the gravimetric photon on, which honestly this torp should be aft, because this torp, while it has a nice proc, on a pure kinetic build like this, the gravimetric's great for science torp builds, but I don't have much EPG, and the gravimetric rifts cause the tack cubes to jump all over the place. Oh, buy with Dill, yeah, now's a good time. Might go a little bit lower over the weekend, but right now is definitely a decent time to use your dilithium to get Zen. And then the torp that I had aft in the run I just did was the or the fourth torp I had for was the just a crafted crit D3 pen. But honestly, the order I should have had this, I should have had the gravimetric aft and the Terran up front. I think that would have done better. Hold on, let me. Someone put in a trade thing in 30k, so I just have to write the not a trade channel thing in there that I've had to put in numerous times. But I went with a pure photon build with this just because of the gravimetric set and because there's just a nice set of photon buffs out there. Do I have a setup for ground? No, I stopped playing ground after the first Sompek event. That burned me out on ground in this game. The Delphic Torp. Delphic is a quantum, from what I remember. Let me see, I've got it here somewhere. I'm gonna be looking right at it and not see it. Oh, that's the AP Torp. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, the Delphic is a quantum. was in the description of it last I saw. Yeah. Based on quantum mechanics. I just interpret that as it being quantum based. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was reading chat MB. I've got like STOs on my leftmost monitor, then I've got my main monitor with all the chat windows on it, and then I have a monitor even further to the right with more stuff open. Well, there's a ground subreddit for like getting ground help. That or STO builds probably be a good place to look at. But yeah, the Delphic is a quantum, and I'm going with the pure photon build. Just it's basically as simple as that. And where was that twerp I just had on? Yeah, yeah. Deflector Engine Core Shield, or DECS as we sometimes call it. I've got a colony deflector. Impulse-wise, I'm using the innervated competitive engines, so it procs off the firing mode abilities. Singularity core, I could swap this out for something else, but I still just have a Spire core on. Shields could literally be any shield you want. Like, I don't need to have competitive on, I could have anything. Then aft, I have the Dyson Proton weapon, and I should have the Gravimetric Photon aft here. This is for the 3-piece, which I'll go over in a second. And then I have the Gamma Rep turret on, because it's got a debuff on it. That's the only reason. But if we look at the Dyson 3-piece, the 2-piece gives some Photon Cat 1 damage. It's not much, around 30% there. 3% crit chance. But then this 3-piece gives plus 10% crit chance for Photon projectile weapons. So that's a pretty big deal. Yeah, quite a lot. I want to pull up the parse now. Let me just find where that window is. I want to look at the crit chance, just to show how much crit chance I have on this. Okay, so for the torps, they weren't as high as usual in this run, but they're 64% on the enhanced biomole with high yield 1. Chemosite was only 48%, so this was a really bad run crit chance wise. Bunch of my torp spreads were around, well, we're in the 80s, mid 80s. But like my crit chance with this setup should be around, I want to say the 70% mark for most things. But when I look at the stats here, it's lowered because some of these abilities, like Concentrate Firepower, simply cannot crit. They, especially this Omega Kinetic Shearing, this is a big one. 1,123 attacks, 0% crit rate. That affects your entire crit percent when it's calculated in the parsers, so it really lowers your crit chance. But as you can see, I've got some really high crit chance numbers here on some of this stuff. It's not as high as some of the previous runs, though, overall, which is a bit weird. Let's look at pets. Drone ships did okay. The Isolytic Tears, let's take a look at what they did overall. I don't feel like adding them up. 6.8k from the isolytic tears there. And there's another isolytic tear here for 5.4k, so it's like 11 or 12k from that trait. That's not too bad. I don't have much EPG going on. I was running the Terran 3-piece also, and as we can see here, that only did 3.6k DPS, which really isn't that much. But Omega Kinetic Shearing did really well with rank 2 of that. It's a really good number from it. 22k almost. But that covers it for the weapons. I'm not doing the best breakdown of everything. Like, I'm just not feeling too good right now. So if you have any questions, do ask, because I'm gonna be missing a few things here. Devices. The only one that I'm actually using is this kinetic amplifier. This is a crafted one from the projectiles crafting. I don't know why I crafted transphasics. I think I was gonna upgrade one and mail it to someone just to mess with them. I don't know why I have so many though. But the only actual scimitar console that I kept on with this setup was the Adaptive Emergency Systems console, and that's because it's a Cat 2 damage boost for 30 seconds. It's a really good console, really powerful. If you're below 50% HP when you activate it, it will go up to a 45% Cat 2 damage buff, which is almost the same damage buff Cat 2 wise as Attack Pattern Alpha. So it's a very, very powerful console with 25% uptime. Then my second console is the Terran Rep console. This is for the 3-piece. The 3-piece has a neat little feature where when you fire one torp, it will fire an additional torpedo of the same or of the basic torpedo of the similar type. So if I fire any photon, I'm going to get a basic photon following it. Essentially. The only issue is it's 20 seconds uptime every 2 minutes. Then I've got the Domino here. This gives me the plus 100% recharge speed for torpedo weapons when I use it. So what I do is I time it with the Terran 3-piece and a few other buffs to just launch a massive volley of torpedoes at targets. It's quite effective and quite fun to watch. Then I've got the Dyson Rep console. That's just for that 3-piece I went over earlier. The DPRM for obvious reasons, and then the Point Defense Bombardment Warhead because it's got a crit chance buff on it and 25% Cat 1 for projectiles. Unfortunately, the 2-piece only buffs energy weapons though, so I'm only using each of the consoles because they're just so effective. And my TAC consoles are 4 photon locators and the counter command multi-conduit energy relay for the chemocyte buff, and because it's got a decent photon buff on it. And then that 2-piece I don't think is doing anything for me. Nah. I mean, it's helping out the Terran and the turret I have on, but those aren't doing much. It's definitely possible I'm missing a useful reputation console. I was literally just tossing things at the HSE runs to see what would stick. To say that, to put that in a form that is safe for me to say on Twitch. And then for the hangar pets, of course, the elite Romulan drone ships. But yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask, because I am not feeling good and I can't remember half of what I was going to say. Doff-wise, 3 of the projectile weapon officers to reduce the recharge time on torps. I had a Dailies on for that HSE because I don't need the speed boost from the con officer, the emergency con hologram. Then with this setup, I'm just trying something different, and I have 2 Oxtabat technicians on with a single Oxtabat alongside a single photonic officer one. So I'm just trying that combination to see how the cooldown reduction works, and it's been working pretty well for me so far. For like a half Oxtabat setup. Bridge officer wise, in these HSE runs, structural integrity collapse 1 for the physical and kinetic damage debuff, rally point marker 1 for the heal, concentrate firepower 3 for the massive damage boost it provides kinetic builds. On the list, Lieutenant Universal, which is attack team 1, scatter volley 1. I'll go over why I have the scatter volley and the fire at will 1 here in just a little bit. Chemosite 2, torp spread 3, and attack pattern beta 3. Then on this Lieutenant Engineer, endothermic inhibitor beam 1, auxiliary to battery 1, as I mentioned, the single Oxtabat, hazard emitters 1, and photonic officer 1. So it's definitely a weird setup cooldown wise. If I activate everything here, it's just really weird. Like, not everything's on the perfect global either. In combat it'd be a little bit better. Oh, there you go. Global on everything. But in combat it'd be a little bit better for sure. Trait wise, or actually let's skill tree. It's my normal skill tree, nothing's changed here. Not gonna go over that too much. Intel primary, for the crit boost, the flanking boost, all that, and the shield pen from Intel Fleet. And then temporal operative secondary for the EPG to help subspatial warheads a little bit. And the other various boost I get, like the dot buff, I think it's mostly just for the EPG that I chose that. Okay, trait-wise, starting with personal traits, intense focus for the shield pen, superior projectile training for the Cat 2 damage boost for the torps, into the breach for the debuff, self-modulating fire for the shield pen, kinetic precision for the shield pen. Now, I decided to try out Terran targeting systems. You could try something else out if you prefer something else. This is just what I've been using. Fleet coordinator, a good day to die, and then anchored. That's my 9 personal space traits I've been messing around with. Starship trait wise, part of the reason I'm still on even using Oxtabat right now is this cold-hearted trait, because I still need the debuff from it. Promise of Ferocity provides a very nice Cat 2 damage buff for longer duration fights. 20% Cat 2, that after 20 seconds will be up the entire time that I'm in combat. Subspatial warheads, I've went over this before, but every high yield or transport warhead that I use will create a subspace rift that, with a decent amount of EPG, will do a good chunk of damage to targets. Then I'm using both of the new traits that came out from the ship bundle that was released a week or 2 ago. Strike from Shadows for the minus threat gen, and then the 5% crit chance and 5% Cat 2 all damage. I could probably use something else, but I've been enjoying this trait quite a bit. And then the last trait, that is the reason I have the Scatter Volley 1 and the Fire at Will 1, is Entwined Tactical Matrices. Matrices, however you want to say it. When I activate my Scatter Volley or Fire at Will, I get a free Torpedo Spread 1. So that is huge for giving me a bit more torp damage. That allows me to, instead of having just one torpedo spread every 15 seconds, I can now have 3. That's what that means. It's a very, very powerful tool to have. The only thing is, you have to time your Scatter Volley and Fire at Will activations before your torp spread. Because if you hit your torp spread, you'll be granted a free Fire at Will 1 and Scatter Volley 1, which means you can't activate the Scatter Volley or Fire at Will to get your free torp spread. So that you just have to slot Scatter Volley and Fire at Will first on your tray, basically. So I'll show. It's like when I hit this torp spread, I can't hit my Fire at Will Scatter Volley. So just have to be careful with that. Space rep wise, precision for the crit chance, advanced targeting systems for the severity, enhanced shield pen for the shield pen, omega kinetic shearing for the dot it provides, which as we saw in the parse did like 22k. And then the last trait here is torpedo pre-fire sequence, which is 15.6% Cat 2 torpedo damage. So I'm doing a lot of shield pen focused stuff, trying to stack up as many damage boosts as I can for the torps, basically. Go back over the torps. Enhanced biomolecular, Kelvin photon, Terran task force, and gravimetric are the main 4, I'd say. I'm not sure this torp even had a chance to fire. I'll have to look at the video later on to see if it did, but I don't think it did. Does anyone have any other questions about this? I'm going to have a write-up on STO builds in a few days. Am I using shield pen DOFs? No. Torpedo recharge. I don't have beam overload on, and I don't have room to slot a beam overload on this build because I need the Fire at Will. But yeah, that's everything with that build, basically. Let's go over to... Let's do like a Cure or something. I really enjoy Kirithus or a Crystalline, because I need a Crystalline for this endeavor anyways. Let's get the Crystalline out of the way. And the name of the ship is Blame Spartan because Cryptic Spartan told me that if I was tired of, dying to the feedback pulse in Hive Space Elite, that maybe I should, use kinetics and get good, so we can blame Spartan for me actually making a torpedo build. It's all her fault. This is a very slow queue. Oh, what happened? Did I miss it? Oh. That's the issue. Are people doing this event, or the Universal Endeavor event? Remember when CCA took like 10 seconds to pop? A very long time ago, apparently. Oh, I'm dead. I'm gonna die here. Or not. Well, the other issue with CCA is they've introduced these changes to it. The ones that they put up for the last event. It's not the most fun event or queue to do now. I'll wait a minute for cooldowns and I'll queue for a cure. Yeah, I really enjoyed the CCA runs that only took like 15 seconds. That was quite enjoyable. Okay, that's good enough on cooldowns. center here. Yes, I have 3 points in Torps for my skill tree. Same skill tree I've been running for a while. I haven't run a 27 point in a while. I think I've been... This is 26, I believe, yeah. Yeah, I'm just doing Torps to do something different, and because people have been complaining at me for years to do a Torp build. So I did one. Like, it's not perfect for ISA, but in HSE it's doing pretty well. What's Reddit Discord talking about? They're talking about monitors. Terrible. Yeah, I mean, I can see the usefulness of the frenzied reactions or whatever a bit more now, but I just I don't know. This skill tree's been working pretty well for me for a while. I can swap between multiple different builds. Like I can swap over to tank build with this. I could swap over to a normal DPS energy weapon build with this setup. I mean, even the Torp build's working so far. The only thing this isn't going to work for is PvP or um, exotic stuff. And the exotic stuff's only because I'm lacking 50 EPG. Which, I mean, you can work around, but that still sucks to be missing out on that EPG. Yeah, Odin would be proud. Yes, I am running the Gagarin trait. Just gonna get this phaser damage endeavor done. Yeah, type in the entire name. Let me just Undine. Actually, I can get my healing done right here. Already got a sixth of it done just with them hitting me a little. Okay, never mind, that's going too slow. That's what it was. Motivation. Yeah, this is almost done. I forgot motivation was that effective. That was a bit easier than the one I tried last week. Oh, while I'm here, I need to get something done that I forgot to do last week. So let me just pull that up. I forgot to do DPS channel invites last week. But first, I need to delete any from before, like, the 5th. I need to clear this list. I just keep forgetting the command. That's not what I meant to do. Should just be a minute. There's not too many invites to go through here. I don't have the command for the console on that character. Thought I did. So this is how DPS channel invites go out. We download that spreadsheet off of the parser, and then we just use the STO console, which you can enable via a launch option. You have to put bash console in your launcher to get it in that command line section. But you can do that to get this window up here, and Control V, and I just copy pasted all of those invites in one go, and you can see them all being spammed out. Starts out slow, then gets really fast. If you do a ton of those at once, like I just did, how many did I do there? 823, because the first line's blank here. So that doesn't cause too much lag, but we've had some instances where we've caused the game to, like, not the game itself, but the chat server to lag a little. SXL, save it. There you go. I need to get 30 Terran ships destroyed in the Battlezone. For that, I am going to swap over to my Fed TAC. But why did the game like remove a bunch of my weapons? That's weird. I've had people like, there's some saying it's like fully automated, and I wish it was fully automated, but no, we have to actually go through and do the invites like that. And I'm the only one doing them anymore because I'm the only one that really still plays out of the admin group, so I just spam them out whenever. Gonna head over to the Terran Battlezone, get this done. It's only 30 ships to destroy, so it won't take too long, but will probably be like 10, 15 at worst. me, while I'm here, start one of these. Type exclamation mark raffle for your shot at a Infinity T5 choice pack ship. And it's set up to give subscribers like 5 extra tickets. So that's why MP's got 15. Thank you for the follow. I know you're one of them Psy elitists. There are no elitist players here, MB. I'm turning my game sound down. That's a bit loud to me. Oh yeah, my game sound was at 9. I usually have it off. But usually when I have it on, I have it around like 3 or 4 because the game volume's so loud. On this character MB, I haven't even gotten the ship to level it up. Like ETM for the 100% fall-up time, that's something I plan on doing at some point, but I'm just too lazy to level up the ship on this character right now, and I have other things to prioritize right now. I'm doing this and trying to type in Discord and stuff at the same time. Get back over to buy this and then I'm gonna alt tab again to finish typing. I also need to change the stream title quick. There's that, I don't need to stick around here anymore. I really hate that they have R&D materials in here. Like, and that the R&D material rewards are just so bad. Like when you see that you get R&D materials, it's basically like you're getting nothing. Outside of the Juggernaut, that depends. Like, are you talking for just general canon DPS stuff, or are you talking like there's multiple different play styles associated with the different promo ships. Like you've got some of the best Psy ships in the game there. You've got some of the best tank ships in the game there. I did not mean to go right back in here. I have no idea why I just hit that. Let me just do what I should have done. Hit that. I don't have a Styx. I never bought one. I won one when they first came out, and then I sold it. I was gonna get one for this character I'm on right now, but like, I think the Styx is a good ship, but I guess I just don't want it that bad because I just ain't playing the game enough. I'd rather just have the EC to gamble. I feel right now more than a ship that I'm not really gonna fly. I mean, if you guys have been watching the stream, you'll realize that the only time I'm doing like rep projects on some of these characters is just once a week during these streams. I I just don't play as much as I used to. Like I'll log in and do some stuff here and there, but I just don't go around and play my alts much anymore. Most of my gaming time is going to other games right now. Like I've really been enjoying playing Apex with some friends, Rainbow Six Siege I've been doing a little bit. There's just not much for me to do in STO, especially when people are not online. Like I can't go and do HSE runs all the time because the people that are best for me to run HSE runs with that will provide me with the best experience, they're only on during certain times of the day. So did I try Anthem? No, I probably will not. I'm debating on buying the Division 2 right now. I enjoyed the first Division, but uh, some friends are looking at picking up the Division 2, and I might get it if they do. Get back into ISA. Terrible. What I need is more EC. And with Anthem looked pretty bad. Like all the reviews for it were not looking too good. Yeah, I mean I know MB. Trust me, I've been where you're at with ISA before. It's just like you got to remember for me, like I was doing ISA runs for a very long time. Let me pull up my YouTube channel here. I've got hidden videos like from way back in the day. Um, Let me just drag this tab over. Display capture, where is it? So like, if I go to oldest, is there not? Okay, so I just gotta go down to go to the last page basically. Like I was doing a ton of ISA runs back in the day. Like one of my favorite things to do way back was solo ISAs because at one point they were quite a challenge. Now they're a solo ISA now would be just a joke. Yeah, 2013. Like that's just the first one on video, but that was already at the point where I was going through and soloing the stuff. Like I spent way too much time on ISA back then. A lot of really old videos here. Various bugs over the years. Lots and lots of ISA runs. It's like I've been exactly where you are, MB. I mean, I didn't go out and do the nanny stuff that much, but like there was a point where I was spamming the ISA runs even more than you are. I just I don't feel like spending the time to go back and do that anymore. Like that's just to me that's too much time investment. I don't get much out of it. Lots and lots of old videos for ISA. I'm like, there's a lot of videos on my channel, but most of them are like unlisted. Lots and lots of videos. I remember making some of these. Like, I know it's been 3-4 years on some of them, but I still remember going through. It doesn't feel like it's been that long on some of them. And we had a really big lag spike. I think it was 2014, 2015. It turned out that there were abilities causing a bit of lag. There's a bunch of series that I never went through with. Turning 100 million EC into a billion. This was actually an interesting thing that I was trying to work on. Then I stopped because it quickly became apparent that if I did anything like this, any method of generating EC I showed would become just flooded so much by a ton of people that it'd be worthless in the end. And yeah, why am I burnt out on ground? 400 wave Sompek. I'd never want to do ground stuff again. Does that making 100 mil, that specific thing that I mentioned, yeah, it does, but that's something you already do. It's like opening DOF packs. That was the first thing I did, was DOF packs, and I gave up because I tried recording that over a month, like doing a little bit of it once every week, and I couldn't get stuff to sell. Even at that time period, I could not get enough stuff to sell. Like the DOF market just moves too slow because there's not enough activity in endgame. There wasn't back then, and there certainly isn't now. Also, I just realized that giveaway's probably ended. Let me check. Oh no, it's got 4.5 minutes left. So if you want a shot at the a tier 5 choice pack ship, just type !raffle in chat. The ships most people choose are going to be the Nicor, Rojan Hunter, Voth Bastion, the Orb Weaver, or the Decora. One of those 5 is usually popular, but there are other ones if you really want something else. And MB, that wasn't just one attempt at that. Like there were other runs, but that specific 5-hour run, that was enough to make me never want to touch ground in this game ever again, basically. Because I do not like the ground mechanics in this game. Why? I don't know. I can't explain why I don't like them, but I just don't. And that is a lot of stuff that has bounced back, and I am not going to go through the effort of relisting right now. And you know, we were talking about the Styx before. If I were to save up and get a ship right now, it wouldn't be a Styx. It would actually be the Durgath, which is also and often cheaper obtained from the tier 6 heavy dreadnought box. The next promo event, I'm probably going to grab one of these. I want the Durgath because I just think it's a good looking ship and I want to put one on my KDF. Yeah. A low price. I don't think I'm ever going to claim this mail, MB. Like, I just enjoy this mail too much. I greatly appreciate you sending me stuff like this. Oh, what was your question, Andrew? What is that mail from MB for? MB had a little giveaway and I happened to be a winner for it, so he had to send me a console. Oh, promo ship I'd buy? Yeah. But I would... Like, that's not for min-max purposes, though that is a decent tank platform. It's just that I like how that one looks. So I guess, yeah, that is more, as you would say, the space barbie side of things, but I like how it looks, and I know that I can build it, set it up to perform reasonably well. It would go on this character. Okay, let's see who the winner is. You put your at handle in and what ship you want from the tier 5 choice pack. I cannot pronounce your name right now. My head hurts too much to even attempt. Usually one of those 5. The Juggernaut, you know, the Juggernaut I think looks okay, but I definitely understand where people are coming from with it. Also, okay, the Night Core, yeah, okay. I'm gonna pull up the promo ships. I'm gonna go over them all. I've talked about doing this before, and people have asked me to. It's just that I am incredibly lazy with stuff. If I'm being completely honest. It's like I was gonna have a video out at the beginning of the month, and I haven't even went through and got it done. I had it mostly done at one point, and then I scrapped it because I need to redo the audio, and then I end up just never getting it done. And that was a video that I was going to release the beginning of February. That's went so well. So let's look here. Anorak's a decent size ship, but a bit outdated now. Cheshire, both versions are outdated. The Jemadar, Strike, and Recon, the only reason to buy those is for the trait. Performance-wise, they'll do okay, but they are limited due to being 4-3 weapon escorts. The 23rd century ships, the Temporal Light Cruiser, the Constitution class, that has mediocre stats. It's just another cruiser, but people go nuts for it because it's the Constitution. The D7's actually pretty solid. The only issue is with all these 23rd century tier 6 ships is they only have 4 bridge officers, so they are limited on their overall build potential. But they are interesting ships, just a bit limited in some ways. The D7 was really good in the pre-season 13 meta with the feedback pulse stuff, but since then it's fallen behind a little bit due to that commander engineer. The Talis is okay, but it's more of a weird PvP niche type ship. It's not something you'd ever use for DPS stuff. 26th century dreadnoughts, those are pretty solid cruisers. Like this Durgath is the one that I want quite a bit. Just a really solid ship. Well, solid cruiser. The layout's not the best right now. 4-4 weapon layout. 2 hangar bays though. It's solid. The trait on it sucks, but it's definitely a solid cruiser platform. But there are better options out there for sure. Yeah, the Anorak trait's okay. The Amory class, this is probably the worst promo ship in the entire tier 6 promo ship lineup. So, when you look at this BOF layout, like right here, let me... That might be a bit too much. Commander tack, lieutenant tack / pilot. The pilot's not going to help you too much as a lieutenant seat. Engineering ensign, lieutenant commander science, and then a lieutenant commander universal / intel So in a standard dual aux to bat setup, you have to run no intel abilities unless you want to only run one emergency powered subsystem ability. But as of last month and the changes to Photonic Officer, you could do a single aux to bat with a Photonic Officer. You could even do Photonic Officer 2 for even better cooldown reduction. And you'd be able to fit an OSS 3 on with a single aux to bat one. You could get away with that. So this ship is slightly better now due to the Photonic Officer change, but it's still a bit of a weak layout overall, I would say. It's 5-2 though, so it does have that going for it. And the trade off of it, apparently some people like it for torp builds. I've not really looked at that too much. Knock shields offline. Yeah, I don't think that'd be that useful. The console's really not on the wiki even. That's disappointing. The Sona Collector, I've went over that a bit before in the past. It's actually a pretty solid size ship. The console on it's really good. The trait, nobody's ever actually tested the trait to what it needs to be tested with. It's just a really weird trait, but it has a nice amount of potential for healing on a drain build. It's just nobody can afford to go out and buy a ship that is this expensive to test that. The Zentaur is a pretty solid ship. It's like the only reason the Juggernaut is so superior to it is because it's got a command seat. And where the command seat is, it has a similar issue as the Amory, where the if you're running a standard aux to bat setup, you'd be screwed over by it having the ensign engineer plus the lieutenant commander universal, which you have to run as an engineer. But with the changes to Photonic Officer, you could do the same thing as with the Amory, where actually, you know, this might be a better torp platform than the Scimitar now that I'm thinking about it, especially with the universal console. Because of the Photonic Officer change, this might be something to look at for a torp build at some point. I don't remember what the consoles do in this set. So 15-second uptime out of 2 minutes for 50% all damage. That's not that great. This console I don't think you'd use. I mean, if you're sitting still, this console would be okay. But if you're trying to move, you'd be screwed over by that console. And this Proto Matter Barrage console, I don't remember if this parsed well for people. And the 3-piece makes it so you can use the consoles every 60 seconds, so that improves that uptime, but I don't know if it'd be worth it. That's something you'd have to get all of them to test and see how they parse. The Herc, Hive Dreadnought Cruiser or Carrier here, this is an interesting ship, but it's limited due to Cryptic deciding they wanted to limit it for no good reason. I can't, okay, I'm not doing that right now. So this ship should have a secondary specialization seat, and I asked about this on stream. I asked Borges about it, and he said he doesn't remember the exact reason, but for some reason they decided to make this ship only have the one bridge officer seat, which I think is a bit unfortunate. Yes, it is the highest hull capacity ship in the game at 1.7. It has a low shield modifier though to counter that. 0.8 shield modifier. Like, this is an okay ship. I have one on my Fed TAC, but it it has some limitations just due to it not having a secondary specialization seat. That's a big thing. Like if this Lieutenant Sai had, I don't know, anything on it, it'd be a better ship. The question is, what would you put on there? What do the other Herc ships have? I don't remember. Oh yeah, they don't have a console set. If I hit these, if I hit the pets, does it say what ships they can be used on? No. Yeah, the shield mod is... I mean, shields are not the most important factor in a ship for sure, but it still sucks to have a 0.8 modifier. And then the last ship on here, we all know that the Juggernaut is such a terrible ship, right? There's nothing good about this ship. Nothing. Nobody would ever use the Juggernaut. But yeah, that's a quick rundown on all the promo ships. A terrible rundown, but a rundown nonetheless, so. I don't know, has anyone got anything else they want me to talk about or anything? Any questions about stuff? We could talk about how MB is a hacker. MB's got like 5 points in his crit chance so far in his endeavor. As a new player, what should you pull out of your Infinity weapon packs? Okay, so let me check prices. Vodwar weapon packs are at 4 mil right now. I would go with either the Vodwar weapon packs or these Discovery, Disruptor, or Phaser weapons and then sell them on the exchange, or you could go and open them on a low level character and upgrade any good ones you get to try and make some EC. But one thing with weapon packs, like, never open them on a high level character. Never. You can get the packs, like if you have a weapon pack, you know, go feel free to take it from the box, but do not open the actual weapon pack box on your high level character. You'll get Mark 12 gear, Mark 11 or 12, when if you open on a character, like you could just have a character dedicated to this, or you can even have another character on another account, which is something I've done before. And like just anything under level 10, that will let you get Mark II versions of the weapons. And these Mark II weapons, they're worth more because people that understand how the upgrade system works understand that Mark II is the best way to upgrade gear. You use a single superior experimental or omega upgrade along with a research accelerator on a Mark II item, and you get that one upgrade and accelerator will carry all the way up to like Mark 7 or 8 and give you a very high chance to increase the rarity of the item along the way. Is the Excelsior still the worst tier 6 ship for DPS? Probably not. I don't know what is right now. It's definitely down there as one of the worst, but is it the absolute worst? I don't know. Like if I'm looking at tier 6 ships, let me see here. It's probably gonna be like a Galaxy class. Like, I think the Galaxy would perform even worse than, where is it on here? What's the name of the Tier 6 Galaxy? Andromeda. Oh no, that's Lieutenant Commander Tactical. There's a cruiser out there. I can't remember which one it is, but it's got just a Lieutenant Tactical on it at Tier 6. That would be even worse than the Excelsior. I shouldn't be looking on a level 2 character because I can't even see everything that easy. Let me go back to my Fed Tech here. Like, if you want to fly an Excelsior, go for it. Just don't worry too much about like the performance side of it. It's really what that boils down to. Let's look at Tier 6. It'd be a cruiser of some sort for sure. That Operations Command Battlecruiser is not looking too good there with that layout. That's actually a really terrible layout. Both of the engineering and science version of the command battle cruisers is really bad. I would say the Excelsior beats them performance-wise. The tactical version, of course, comes out a little bit ahead though, being it has a Lieutenant Commander Tactical. But this Lieutenant Tactical and being able to run only 2 lieutenants really limits you. Huh. I thought there was one that's worse. It might be a lockbox one, but I'm pretty sure there was one cruiser at some point, a Tier 6 one, where it only had a lieutenant seat. Lieutenant Tactical. Where's the Excelsior on this list? Like, am I missing something? Because it seems I'm missing quite a few here. Yeah, that poor Excelsior, that... I mean, even if this Ensign Engineer was attack, that would make the ship a much better option. Like, even just that minor change. Now this layout's pretty bad on this. I mean, you're forced to make this Lieutenant Commander attack if you want to do anything with this ship. This is actually, when I look at this, I haven't looked at this ship too much, but this is actually a really bad layout. Because you are forced to make this Lieutenant Commander attack if you want to do any damage. And then that limits you on the engineering side of things for most builds. Oh yeah, and we know this ship can't do anything. Definitely not. MB, what did you get this ship up to, if you're still around? Wasn't it like 3 or 400k, or was it 500? I don't remember. It's actually a really solid ship. I'd like to use this ship some more. This has a nice photon console that I was gonna use. I was thinking about using this ship on SOB, but The issue with this ship is it's got a console on it on the Tier 5 version that is like a really nice torpedo spread, but the issue is it has a pilot seat. Like, this pilot seat really messes this ship up for a torp build. Like, I was really surprised when this ship came out that they limited it with a pilot seat. This is a ship that would have benefited heavily from a command seat due to the torpedo spam that was so commonly seen with it way back in the day. I'm just looking at various ships now. There's not too many Tier 6 size ships. Are lockbox ships generally better than C-store ships? That's gonna vary, honestly. The lockbox ships, you will have some that have additional features that make them better. Like, you'll have some that have a commander specialization seat plus a secondary specialization on another seat. Whereas a lot of the C-store ships that have a commander specialization seat are then stuck with another seat of the same specialization on the ship. But the lockbox ships will often differ from that and have another specialization, which allows them to have a bit more flexibility in builds. Performance-wise, it really depends on the ship and the current meta at the time. There are a lot of C-store ships that will perform very well, but there are also some lockbox or promo ships that do have a performance advantage. So I would say yes, lockbox ships are generally better than C-store ships, but there are some C-store ships that trade punches with the lockbox ships. What carrier type ship would I recommend? So, one of the things with carriers, I'm going to move my mic a bit closer here. One of the things with carriers is a lot of people get this idea that they can, or a lot of people have this idea that they can make their pets do a majority of the work for them. And even if you max out a carrier, the best carrier in the game, and you had the best pets in the game, you can't do that. You have to think of your pets as a secondary effect, and you have to find a ship where you can work with that idea. So, like, your top carriers in the game are going to be your ships that have a lot of potential alongside having the two hangar bays. So, your dreadnought carriers are the big ones. These dreadnought carriers are really the best carriers in the game for most things. Like, you've got the Jemadar dreadnought carrier, that's a really solid ship itself, and then it's got the two hangar bays of solid hangar pets. Like, the only issue is generally with the science dreadnought cruisers, because some of those are a bit weak. Like, we see the Aatrox, like that's a really bad ship. It doesn't have any good pets it can use. So that's another thing with these carriers, is finding a ship that has really good hangar pets available for it. Yeah, MB, I'll beam up and check my cooldowns. Like, I know I was losing myself there while talking a bit, but it's really finding hanger pets that are actually effective, and then finding a carrier that's really effective also. And then there are some ships like I wish the Talaru saw a bit more attention. That's a ship I'd like to go back and spend some time on at some point. It's just it's a hard ship to work with. Um, wanted it's like you can change your email on your account if that's what you're asking. I've done that with this account. Like I originally had an account on the email that I'm currently using this account with that was from way back in the day, and I transferred that account to another email, and then I transferred my actual account over from a third email over to my main email account. So like, you just got to make sure there's no other account on that email before you transfer it over to that email account. Yeah, MB is an elitist that needs to repair his ship, but he won't because it's a projectile malfunction. That's terrible, MB. The R&D promotion chips, it's hard to say. There are some there that are definitely the best in the game, but they're not all like the best options for their category. Yeah, sorry I had to answer the phone there, but yeah, there's some that are best in slot, like the Juggernaut. If you're going for DPS, the Vodwar Juggernaut is the best option for energy weapon DPS in the game. It will beat every other option by like 20%. It's just flat out a superior ship to every other DPS ship ever released in the game. Um, for tanking, there's no tanks in the promo packs that are for sure going to beat C-Store ones. Like the Tier 6 Odyssey, there's Pop MB. The Tier 6 Odysseys are very popular for tanking, and I think they're still some of the best, even with there being really solid options from the promo packs. $326k from MB. Let's see what my threat gen was. I'll be back in a few. Actually, I'm gonna have to end the stream. The dog just ran out the back door, and I gotta chase him down because someone didn't put the leash on him properly. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll be back streaming again next week, but I need to go for now. See y'all around.